Ahoy, hoy, this is Erin from Heavy Mag, and I'm joined right now by Howard from Within Destruction. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for having me.
I'll get to chatting about the new album in a minute, but first of all, I've got to ask because I know you're on the road right now. How are you holding up? I've been looking on the socials, and the tour schedule looks pretty hectic.
Um, well, it's only been 3 days on the road so far, so I th I think we're all still pretty fresh. We did have a month off prior, because before that we were on tour for like 3 months. But I don't know, like this time we were playing new songs, and it feels like it feels like the set list is way more energetic and way more interesting, and definitely something that we wanted to be doing for a long time now. So I think we're all pretty excited to be able to play these new songs to some new and familiar faces. So yeah,
So you're still pumped. You're not travel fatigued yet.
no, no, no. For 3 days in, I don't think that's gonna set in just yet.
Yeah, awesome. So
Yeah.
you were in Australia recently though, and that was the first time here, right?
Yep. Correct.
Aussies love hearing what foreigners think about our country. So, did we live up to your expectations?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I I know Australians love this kind of music, and also the fans there are super dedicated, and when it comes to live shows, they're super wild as well. Um, in terms of like Australia as a country itself, I think it's super nice. I really like the wildlife, despite what people say about your huge spiders and I don't know, things just popping up in your house that can kill you, Like I don't know, I really like marsupials, and I don't know, I just really like the wildlife over there. So in terms of meeting our expectations, the band's never been there, so didn't really have any expectations, but all I can say is we had a really good time connecting with our fans over there, and also just playing to completely new people. We've never been there before. So yeah, I thought it was great, and I'm sure the guys all think it's great as well.
So, what was your favorite city and why was it Melbourne?
Oh, you're actually correct. It was Melbourne.
I knew it.
I was actually gonna say Melbourne. I don't know, just the whole energy of that show was crazy. People really popped off on that one. Oh, also like a few friends of mine are in Melbourne, and they came out for that show as well. So I'm also super stoked about that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, there is like a stupid little rivalry between Sydney and Melbourne, and I'm from down Melbourne way, so that's why I that's why I chucked that one at you. But Melbourne definitely has a really amazing heavy scene. People go off for it down here. I did notice as well that on your tour listing, you had like a bunch of like regional, well, what we would consider regional cities here as well, like Newcastle and Albury and Canberra. Like, how did the smaller places go?
The smaller places, I mean, we really didn't know what to expect over there, like what the regionals would be like over there. But I think overall I think it was great. I mean, of course, there's smaller places, so we couldn't expect a lot of people. But actually, surprisingly, Newcastle turned out pretty well. The turnout was really nice, and also the venue was like for some reason just in the middle of like Newcastle, in the middle of nowhere. There's this like amazing venue, which is kind of crazy. So it was kind of a wild ride. We didn't know what to expect, but I think we're all still pretty happy with how it went, despite there not being as many people as like, the bigger cities. I think it's still nice that if we go to the middle of the country, like in the middle of nowhere, like there's still people that are going to come down to our shows. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many international bands that will do those cities, so that's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
Actually, while we're still talking about touring, what is like the funniest or weirdest or most unusual touring experience you guys have had as a band?
Okay, I can give you two. I can give you like a touring tradition, and also like just something weird but also kind of sad. I'll give you the weird and sad one right now. Yeah, when we were driving in Australia, I didn't know this, but there was just like dead kangaroos everywhere on the road. Like dead kangaroos, dead wombats. and it's like bizarre because for us, obviously we don't have those anywhere else in the world, right? Except for like in zoos or whatnot. But it was just super wild to see just dead animals on the road, like, and so many as well. And yeah,
Yeah, and they're the animals that we put out there as like our national icons, and everyone sees as like, the come and see the koalas and the kangaroos, and they're cute and cuddly, and then you're seeing just roadkill
yeah,
everywhere.
it's so weird. It's so wild.
I'm guessing they told you, like people told you as well, that they do a lot of damage to your car if you hit one as well.
Yeah, especially wombats, from what I heard. They'll like toll your car from underneath. It's kind of wild.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Another touring experience, not really funny or weird, but it's just other people might think it's funny or weird, but I think it's actually quite normal. When we're in the States, every day we're at Denny's. We try to go to Denny's. It's like this American diner. They're open 24 hours. People hate it. I don't know why. We love it. So to other people, it seems funny or weird, but for us, it's like an everyday thing, and it's it's like a go-to. It's a must-have. So that would be
Yeah. Well, if you're immersing yourself in the culture, then
exactly. Yeah.
okay, so let's talk Lotus. So it was released on the 30th of September, so it's only been out a little while. First of all, I got to say congrats because it's a beast of an album.
Thanks.
So when I was like comparing it to previous albums, like you can hear on and forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it properly, but on Yokai, you guys were obviously starting to expand your sound then, and I feel Lotus was sort of just a further progression and an evolution to that. So how have you found the feedback and the response to the new material?
Um, I thought that the feedback was great. In terms of what I've been seeing and what I've been hearing, people have been really liking this direction. And you are right. We did kind of start to transition towards this metalcore, melodic, a little bit more accessible, but still quite heavy. We started that transition with Yokai. That was kind of like the stepping stone to where we are right now. And of course, like making the transition from, let's say like the deathcore era where it was like Death Wish to where we are now, I feel like we needed to make that step in Yokai so it's not such a drastic change. And I think people really could really feel that. And yeah, from what I've heard, like, and what I've been seeing, people have been really digging it. So I'm pretty happy about that.
You said playing the new songs live has just sort of like kicked things up a notch as well, or has it just sort of added a new dynamic to the live show?
I think it's actually what we wanted to sound like for a long time and what we wanted to play for the longest time. In terms of like our old stuff, it is faster and it does feel more technical, but the new songs have a different type of technicality, whereas the old songs relied a lot on, super like weird and like technical riffs. These new songs, there's a lot more space, more intricate patterns, more dynamics. So I think as musicians, we like that challenge, and just as people, having something different just adds more interest to our touring lives, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Why do you think that you weren't doing this sort of style previously? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I think the band just wants to do what the band wants to do. When we were deathcore, we wanted to be a deathcore band. We really just we liked bands that were of that sphere. And then the more time passed on, the more we realized that okay, like we're actually all fans of, like pop music, rap music, all these different kinds of styles that don't rely on, 200 BPM blast speeds or like super fast guitar playing. Yeah, it was just kind of something that we wanted to do. We wanted to challenge ourselves to make songs with huge choruses that you wouldn't hear in deathcore or heavier styles of music. So I think why we didn't do that style before was just because it wasn't something that we thought we wanted to do at the time. but the more time passes on, we just wanted to do it. Like that's actually just the baseline answer, actually, like to why we do what we want to do, just because we want to do it.
Yeah, yeah, makes perfect sense. And I guess as a band too, the more time you spend writing, the more you start to develop your own style, right?
Yeah, 100%. We really want to, have our signature sound in like whatever album that we're doing, whatever, songs we're doing. Like we needed to still have the Within Destruction feel. So it's still got to be heavy and it's still got to sound like us. So yeah, absolutely.
I think you nailed it. And I think the genre blending, it doesn't feel pretentious or try hard. It feels very natural. I really think you've done a very good job of it.
Nice. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
So you've also introduced clean vocals in this album, which you haven't done previously, right?
Correct. So we have done something like this in the past. In Yokai, we implemented some pitch screams. We would just try to hit different pitches with screaming. And I think Raw killed it on that. So I know we definitely wanted huge choruses, and in order to have huge choruses, we felt like clean vocals are a must because you can't add like two different harmonies with a you know like a scream top line. So yeah, we implemented a lot more pitch screaming on
Yeah.
this new album, but also some clean singings and like some pushed cleans to back everything up. So you'll have your top, like your main melody, which is like a pitch scream, and then I actually did the cleans on the record as well. So whatever the main melody was, it would be backed up by my cleans, and then we would also have different layers of harmonies that were also recorded by me. So that way like that took us to like a totally new place because we've never done harmonies before. In deathcore, harmonies are you do low vocals, I do high screams. It's like that's what a harmony in deathcore is. But like for us now, we can do so many different layers, and the musical decision of where to add harmonies just it's just so much more creative and it's so much more fun. And I feel like you can accent different elements of the music, whereas before you just couldn't. So yeah, clean vocals are definitely something that we're really proud of, and something that I'm really happy that we implemented on this record.
Have you always been a singer just hiding behind your instrument, or did you have to develop your singing skills for this album?
I mean, I have sang before, but I would never really call myself like a singer or a person that is like extremely good at singing. Um, Funny story though, my first performance ever in my life was like it was me and three other people, and we were doing a Green Day cover, and I was on the guitar and singing. I was like 13 or something. But so yeah,
Yeah.
like I have been singing before, and in my previous band I did do backing vocals as well. So, but now like I find myself um with my vocals like way more in front than it was before.
And did you put your hand up for this, or did you kind of get like pushed? Come on, you got to sing, you got to sing.
I think I was just asked, "Hey, can you do clean vocals?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"I can try." So yeah, it just went like that.
How far in advance do you guys like plan stuff as a band? Like, are you super regimented, or do you work on songs when you're on the road, or do you sort of like do it when the time feels right? Like, have you got plans for new stuff already? I know you've only just released Lotus, but is there new stuff in the works?
I think we're pretty big picture focused, so we like to look at things in terms of, years and where we are as a band. So when the timing is right, we do want to have music ready. Yeah, I can't say anything about that now, but yeah, let's just say we're always planning. There's always material. Like let's just say because I write music on my free time, but also as like a freelance producer as well. So writing is a everyday thing for me. So we always have stuff ready. We always have stuff that's good to go. If we need it, like if we want to release something, we always have options.
So what you're saying is you eat, you sleep, you breathe, you write.
Yep, yep, exactly.
So what do you prefer most then? Do you prefer the writing process, recording, or touring?
I think they're all just a super they're just all super different experiences. I like the writing. I really like the writing aspect because it's just fun and it's just creative, and like nothing is off limits. You can do whatever you want on the songs that you're doing. Touring is fun because of course playing the music that you were in prior is awesome, and having people reciprocate the energy that you put out is great. Recording is fun too because it's challenging. You get to challenge yourself to get the best takes possible, and also just like, just hearing your ideas come to life in like a studio or, with a producer. It's just crazy. So I wouldn't really say I have a favorite because they're all just so different and I enjoy different aspects of it.
That's a very politician's answer.
Yeah, yeah,
But I guess like in the studio this time around too, like the challenge would have been a whole different ball game with implementing the new vocal styles and that sort of thing. So, um, watching harmonies come to life is I know myself from being a vocalist in a band, like it just you get so hyped up watching your creation come into fruition. So I bet there was
yeah.
high vibes when Lotus was being recorded.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I remember when we were laying down all the harmonies, we were with Federico, the producer on this album. He was actually home because he had COVID, so he actually Zoom called us or at his home while we were at his studio with a different producer doing helping with the work, but he was controlling the session on his side. So like that was bizarre too. Like that's so 2022, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's so wild. So yeah, like we were all there in the room, like deciding on which harmonies to put where, and when it all worked out, like you try different things, and when you find the one, it's like, damn, that's the one. So it's cool.
great feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you hope that the listeners would take away from Lotus? Like, is there any particular themes or messages in the songs or, things that you were wanting to tackle or put out there?
You mean in terms of like song messaging and like messages, like lyrically or musically?
Oh, either, either.
I mean, I know from a musical standpoint, I like to write from like themes and different motifs. So I would just say if when someone's like listening to a song, keep in mind what kind of melodies are there and like try to see like where it repeats and where it changes because that's what I really like. I like theme and variation, and I feel like it carries the song super well and it ties everything together. Each song has a different vibe, so I guess just get into the vibe. Yeah, in terms of lyrical meaning, I wouldn't really know because Roke writes the lyrics. So I just like help with some like phrasing and like word changes here and there. But yeah, I'm mainly focused on how everything fits together and how everything flows. I'm sure people when people listen to it, like, and that's the thing, like when people listen to it, they're gonna attach their own meaning to it. So yeah, that's also like the cool part of what we do. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to know what we want to say. Like you can interpret it how you want and like attach your own life to it.
Yeah, the beauty of music.
Yeah, 100%.
What's your personal favorite song on the album and why?
For me, my favorite song is Dying World featuring Lil Lotus. And I think the reason why it's just like the biggest step from anything we've done as a band. Just it's totally different. It's melodic, it's got clean choruses, it's got like completely clean bridge. It's just totally out there for us. And I think that's just like the most exciting part is the fact that this like slam deathcore band that was doing like insanely fast blast beats, like pig squeals, are now doing like this like actual like pop song. I think it's crazy, and I think I don't know, Lil Lotus absolutely killed it, and yeah, just the vocal melodies on that are crazy. So in terms of my favorite song on the record, that's got to be it, like hands down.
That's a good answer. It's definitely a standout. Then, in terms of because you have a collaboration with the Lotus on that song, if you could collaborate with anyone, dead or alive, who would you choose?
Um, yeah, that's a really good question.
Don't you love it when people throw these ones at you?
Okay, I would want to collaborate with, and this would be insane.
Yep. And insane. The more insane, the better. I say.
I'd like to collaborate with Blackpink, all four of them. Would be sick. Jisoo and Rosie on one verse, Lisa and Jenny on the other verse, and the choruses like we will do together. Like you know what I mean? Like that would be so cool.
So you answered that as if you had to really think about it. You've thought about this before.
I mean, the pairing is a quite usual thing, like having those two people together. But yeah, them, Ariana Grande, Megan Thee Stallion, yeah, those would be crazy. Those would be awesome.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, I'll be looking forward to that in the future. I've planted the seed.
Yeah, uh-huh. Put it out there, you know.
Well, I'm going to end it on a fun question. So my favorite song is Illusions. I don't know if this is necessarily what the lyrics were about, but because as we just said, you can attach your own meanings to it. And so the lyrics reality is the illusion gives me a real Matrix vibe.
Yeah,
Um so I'm going to assume you're familiar with the Matrix, right?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, cool, cool. Well, just in case anyone listening isn't, shame on them. Uh would you choose to take the blue pill, so that is to like live a life in a state of blissful ignorance, or would you choose the red pill, which will awaken you to the truth of reality, even if it meant revealing life as you know it to be a lie?
Question, the blue pill, when you take it, you forget that even like that you've even encountered the option of taking red or blue, right? Is that it?
That's right. Yeah, you just live in the plain old boring reality that you've been led to believe is real.
Um, red pill. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. It's also hard because in that situation, like if that actually happened, like I actually don't know. I actually don't know what I would choose, but like right now, as of this moment, I would definitely pick red pill, just because like it would suck to know that everything was a lie. And also you can hang with Morpheus and the boys when you take the red. So I'm gonna take the red.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I wanna ride that ship and I wanna fight those like squid robot things, you know what I mean?
Best answer. That would be I'm a red pill girl too. All right. Well, I think that about ends it.
Before I sign off, I just want to say like stream Lotus. It's everywhere and I think it's the band's super stoked about it and it's where we want to be and we've wanted to be here for a long time. So the fact that we're here is crazy. So go stream Lotus and yeah, thanks for supporting us.
Hell yeah, it's a monstrous album. I back that up. Everyone should listen to it.
Hell yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, I'll let you get some rest before you have to do the thing tonight, and all the best with the rest of the tour.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Erin.